election oversight and business registration are two of the main duties of Ohio's Secretary of State, but this year there's an extra responsibility, being a member of the Apportionment Board, and that board is going to oversee redrawing Ohio's legislative boundaries, and those will be in effect for the next 10 years. Democrat Maryellen O'Shaughnessy and Republican John Husted are two of the candidates trying to replace Democrat Jennifer Brunner in the November election. O'Shaughnessy currently is the Franklin County Clerk of Courts and a former 3-term member of Columbus City Council. She's also co-owner of O'Shaughnessy Company Funeral Directors.
As Secretary of State, how will you ensure fair, honest, and impartial election administration in Ohio?
We need to make sure that we've got fair access to the ballot, and I'm a real proponent of the early voting processes that we have in place right now. We need to make sure that that's available to more people in Ohio and they understand how to do it so that we've got smooth elections in Ohio. And we need to make sure people understand that their vote is secure. And that to do that, we need to make sure that we've got educated poll workers, and we need to make sure that we've got appropriate audits in place after big elections so that we understand how the process worked and what didn't work, and make sure that the people have an opportunity to review that information, that they understand that their vote counts.
How do you see the Office of the Secretary of State playing a more prominent role in small and medium business expansion and working with other state agencies to reduce bureaucracy and create jobs in Ohio?
I believe we've got a real opportunity here to reduce turnaround time and increase online access in the business services section. Right now, as Clerk of Common Pleas Court for Franklin County, I'm in the midst of a 21st century technology revolution with online access to records, and we're in the midst of beginning an e-filing process for people to file their court documents online. I believe we need to do this in the business services section as well.
How do I know that you're going to run your office with ethics and integrity?
I'm going to be fair and impartial. I'm going to make sure that as I attain the office of Secretary of State, that I conduct this office in a nonpartisan fashion. I will not be endorsing or working on any candidates' election processes or making robocalls for any issue. People need to know that their chief elections officer is going to make sure that all their votes count and are counted.
With Ohio's demographics constantly changing, at what point does it become necessary for the state to have multiple languages on the ballot so that voters don't feel disenfranchised?
That's a good question, too. You know, the Cuyahoga County has just had a problem with this themselves. The Department of Justice came in and found that there were Americans, Puerto Ricans, who were feeling that they didn't have an opportunity to really understand ballot issues. So as our population grows and changes, we need to make sure that we've got information out there so that they can understand fully about who they're voting for and issues that they're voting on.
If elected, you'll serve as a member of the Ohio Apportionment Board. What process do you support to ensure fair, open, and transparent redistricting?
There has been a process in the legislature that failed that was going to give the voters an opportunity to look at some much needed reforms in our apportionment process. During that process, I thought to myself, there's no reason for us to just wring our hands and say, well, we've failed, and then go ahead and do business as usual. I sent a letter to all people who are running for the apportionment board seats and asked for them to sign on to a pledge to make sure that we are doing a transparent process, that we are truly trying to balance out the state, make sure that we've got representational fairness, so that no one political party has a lopsided political advantage through this.
There are many areas in my life that I manage electronically, and I think it might be very convenient to be able to vote that way too. So I'm wondering if any progress is being made towards being able to vote online or with other electronic devices.
As far as online voting is concerned, that is probably in our future, but way distant future. It's not secure enough to make sure that we've got a process that can be trusted at this point.
There's much more of the O'Shaughnessy interview in the Democracy 2010 section of WCPO.com. Tom McKee, 9 News in Columbus.